You are looking at photos of the Florida International Air Show. These incredible, breathtaking photos happen every year at this annual event, and it is definitely a sight to be seen. And we are so excited. Joining me now is the president of the Florida International Air Show, Denise Dull. Denise, welcome to Spotlight on Florida. And tell us a little bit about this event. Give us the general overview of the Florida International Air Show.
First, thanks for having me. I'm happy to tell our story because we're one of those little hidden gems that not too many may know about unless they're in the immediate area or within our ticketing base. But we're a 43-year-old air show. We take place annually in the fall at the Punta Gorda Airport in Punta Gorda, Florida.
I love it. And this is an event that attracts so many people every year. And it's ranked high in some recent rankings, right? In terms of great events across the country.
It is, and we up against some big boys too in the state. Florida has a great reputation and a good selection of air shows around us, naval bases and civilian shows. So we're proud to make the list when we are nominated, and then we're super surprised on how we do after we are nominated because it's a guest experience voting tool. So, when we come up against the Oshkoshes and the Lakelands and those big guys, we're super impressed with where we land, and we love that. Folks seem to like us. We try to pride ourselves on having a good experience and to be good hosts, and it seems to be working in our favor. So.
No, that's awesome. Here on Spotlight on Florida, we've got an audience of, all sorts of different folks. We got people in the industry, tourists, all kinds of people that are watching. And we love to cover a variety of events. And we love air shows. We've been all over recording air shows, putting them on and talking to folks. But that's why I wanted to make sure we got you on here, because what you do down there is really special. Charlotte County is just an amazing part of the state. But here we go. Now, listen. Anybody in hospitality knows you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to change when things happen. And this year was a really interesting year because you had to make some last minute changes. Am I right?
We did, and it was one of those things where you didn't know certain things up until the absolute last minute. So you're planning for things that are creating expenses for you because you have to have them. If the military says they're coming, you have to have these things in place for them. And if they don't come, you still have that expense that you're carrying in cost. About 80% or 90% of air show expenses are paid prior to the event day. So it's a costly event. And then to have that change like so close to event weekends is extremely difficult, like we did this weekend. The government had a shutdown. We were on
Yep.
task to have one of the largest shows we've ever had in our history. The Blue Angels were returning after 13 years. They hadn't been here. We had not only the Navy, but we had the U.S., the Air Force demo team coming back as well because we had to cancel our show in 2024 due to two hurricanes hitting us within a month. And so we pivoted on that year also and tried to roll some things over. We were selling tickets at a great clip. We had sponsors on board. We had exhibitors. We had a lot of folks really creating interest in our show. And then the government went down and shut down. And we
And that,
lost. We
when you
lost.
have a lot of military involved,
We
that's a
did.
big part of your show.
It was 21 aircraft on our static line. Both the Blue Angels and the Air Force and Heritage Flight slots in our show. And, folks that ticket holders that just did not come out because that was the show they wanted to see. Um,
So what
so
did you do? How did you make this all right for for the guests that were watching?
we called we called all of our friends and our network of people that we've worked with over the years. And we had, for the first time ever in Florida history, we had Randy Ball and his three MiG-17s. They've never had three perform together. So we brought that in, hoping it would bring up some more interest in the show. And then Patty Wagstaff did us a solid and came out of retirement. She's very well known in the industry and had retired last year, and she came out and did some things for us. And then Matt Youngkin, who's another great performer, was able to come in and join the lineup. So we created a schedule of performers that wasn't quite the loud and fast we had anticipated, but had some record-setting aspects to it that really was a good show for the 2 days for folks that were here.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. But hey, that's our industry. That's what happens with
It
all,
is.
on a daily basis, whatever
Mhm.
industry, whatever part of this industry you're in, air
Yeah,
shows, restaurants, hotels, theme parks. We are always trying to adapt, and but it's good. I'm glad to hear that you made it work.
we did.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you've touched on some of these things about air shows, and air shows. I mean, they really are. We have them all over Florida. People just love them. In addition to being president of this air show, you're the vice president of the Southeastern Air Shows. Is that right? What's the position
It's
there? In
called the Southeast Council of Air Shows. So the region itself goes, I want to say it's a little below Virginia, all the way down to Florida, and then out to Texas. So it creates an opportunity for the air show industry, not just the producers like ourselves, but performers, support types of businesses and agencies and things like that to meet on a smaller scale than we do in December, which is coming up actually next week. The International Council of Air Shows, which is everyone all over,
wow,
will come together. So the regional presents a little bit more intimate of a setting where folks can do that networking. We can do those mentoring type of situations, the educational pieces where people can really learn more from folks that work and support the shows in the region rather than the larger scope, which is huge. It's everybody in Las Vegas. So
and
it
what
is.
do people all over the Southeast region think of Florida? They is this the
You
place to
know,
be?
yes, they love to come here, actually. You would be surprised when we go to Las Vegas and when we announced that the conference would be coming back to Punta Gorda in March, people were already making the reservations and reaching out to determine what the dates were and things like that. Because they want to be here. Everybody likes to come to Florida in March. Or the winter months. But like I said, we like to be good hosts, and we have a good show. Well, in Las Vegas, well, the people will flock to you to want to come to the show when they know that you have a good, solid community that supports you. You have a solid, respectable show or event in this case, and it keeps us on the radar for folks that we might not have seen yet, um, who want to come and be part of our show.
That's awesome. Like I said, we got people all over the state that watch us that are in the industry. So we like to talk numbers. We like to look at this thing. So, I mean, in terms of putting on an air show, what does it take? How many people? What's the budget like? And just how long do you have to prepare for a show?
We know what we get asset wise from the government 2 years out. So when we go to Las Vegas next week, they'll do military announcements on Tuesday morning, and we'll know what's been
Wow.
allocated to us in 2026, and then also in 2027. So if it's a show that gets us a jet team like the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels or the Snowbirds or what have you, we'll start planning for that show immediately because that's a million and over $1 million budget for us. And it's usually a larger attendance, larger logistical layout, security, transportation, that kind of thing. If we don't pull that type of a card and we have a civilian act with maybe a demo team or some other things, we'll look at how can we bring something interesting and new to the area, and pair it around what we do have. That's a little bit smaller of a show. It's probably about a half of what we pull on a jet team, and we'll just move into that phase and start working on that show immediately too. We'll, the small shows we only get a year, usually to plan that. On a larger scale, we'll get 2 years, and maybe that gives us the opportunity to build some multi-year package deals or make some arrangements 2 years out for folks that might not be able to do something within this next year.
Yeah,
But there's at least 600 volunteers. I know we had this
that's what I was
discussion
going to ask
probably.
you.
Yeah, which is like a small little army of folks. We have folks that have been loyal and come every year, but we have folks that just are new to the air show industry and want to just sign up individually. Or we'll have nonprofit groups that we've worked with over the years that bring in their volunteer bases to do certain aspects of the show, which is a huge, huge asset for us. We
600 volunteers.
yeah,
Wow.
and we feed
That-
them. Yeah, and we give them a t-shirt, and we put them on a bus and bring them in, and it's no small task at all. But folks will tell you, especially the ones that have been around for a while, they'll call you and ask, "Hey, when's the meeting? Or when's the brief? Or when are we getting this? Or when are we getting that?" So they kind of keep you on your toes when it comes to getting everybody together. But it's almost like the circus comes to town kind of mentality, you know. It's everybody puts the that weekend on their radar well in advance and kind of know that it's coming up.
Yeah. I mean, we are one here with the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association. So it's interesting to see how everything always works together. I love seeing how in our industry, especially, it all comes together. Talk to me about, how what happens in the whole community, restaurants, hotels,
Mhm.
attractions. It's all a big weekend because of this air show.
It is, you know, when we have the ability to, and we've partnered with our Visitors Bureau on this report a couple of times that I've gotten a chance to see it. I've only been president for the past 5 years, but our economic impact of from outside dollars of the county and tourism to our show is about 5.9 million to $6 million for the weekend.
Huh?
So yeah, we want to make sure that we create good opportunities for our hotels. We take a large chunk of those hotel room nights ourselves and things that we pay for, but we also want to make sure that our ticketed guests know where the places are that they have can stay, where they can eat. We get a lot of our restaurants that will give us coupons and things like that for our swag bags. We have sponsors that will join us in providing QR codes for certain things, either on our tickets or on site. Um, Seminole Casino was a big one this year for us. They just came back on our President's Club and they had some things they wanted to say. So we put them on the back of all of our rental chairs and they just loved that idea. So, you know, it's creating those opportunities to make good partners and then have people that will come back not just for the show, but will come back maybe another time of the year to visit and come see us again, or move here, or do whatever it is that they would like to do. It's just we give them a little taste of what Charter County is all about, and see how it goes from there as far as visitors to our area.
Yeah, I mean, I
But we have
absolutely
some
love it.
great
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
some great hotel partners.
that's good.
They're always the first ones to hop up and want to make those arrangements. And then in turn, we have a accommodations page on our website that when the tickets go on sale, that information is right there for ticket purchasers to know where to stay.
Yeah. And I just love it. Just talking to you, I can tell you love doing this. You love the event,
I do.
and we talk about tourism and hospitality. Wrap it all up for us. How much do you love being a part of just the whole Florida idea of hospitality and tourism, and how do you all fit in it, and how much do you enjoy being a part of it?
I we the whole board and all of the volunteers and everything in the show are all of that volunteers. We don't have any paid staff on our roster. I have to love it if I put that much time the time into doing what we do and to be so good at it. And we have a terrific board of experienced folks that are passionate about it too. Um, it's not an easy thing, especially when everybody has other jobs and other things and so many tasks in the community that can take your time. But it's when I've said this in interviews. If you haven't been to an air show, it's like taking football, pizza, hot dogs, um, fireworks, NASCAR, and Leonard Skinner, and wrapping it all up with a bow and putting a military flag on it, and that's an air show. It's you have to experience it to know what I'm talking about. And I was hooked the very first air show. I went to when I was volunteering just to sell beer at a beer portable. And I did that for a couple of years until I joined the board. And then from then on, it's always like, okay, you wrapped up one year and it's like, okay, how do we beat that next year? What are we going to do next year that's going to make it more fun? And we introduced our STEM pavilion this year, which is and our Earn Your Wings reading program in elementary and middle schools. And because Charlotte County has a great aviation and mechanics program in our technical college, and we have some employers that are coming to the airport that's going to need that skill base. So that's our focus. Also, is how do we build out that educational piece and give youth an opportunity to experience aviation who may not have had an opportunity to do that in the future. So it's not going to just be an air show on air show weekend. It's going to be the air show year round.
I like it. It sounds like everything is in good hands under
Thank
Denise
you.
Dull, president of the Florida National Air Show. Denise, we thank you so much for joining us. I assume we've got dates already for next year. It's got your Charlotte County, the beautiful county. You got a great
Yes.
air show with all kinds of talent. And what date should people put on their calendar?
I'll tell you, you say that we have a November date slotted right now, but we also have something in the works. We don't know how like it'll play out because we won't know until Tuesday to bring another exhibit in that has never been to our show. So we worked with a couple of other shows to try to line some things up, and I'll know next week how that worked out for us. So we could be earlier in October, or we could be in the November slot. So sometime in the fall.
You
But the
heard it here
announcement will be a
first.
big one, so you'll hear it. You'll hear it
We
from
don't.
Las Vegas. Yeah.
The verdict is still out. You have to stay tuned to find out. And Denise, I hope you'll come back and share with us all the information and tell us more about the show. But thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And thank you for being here on Spotlight on Florida.
Thanks for having me.
All right. That's going to wrap up that interview. Spotlight on Florida rolls on with more programming right now.